Welcome to the Information Governance Conference 2016. We got you out here nice and early. The weather is beautiful. It's a perfect time for a conference. I'm Nick Inglis. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the president of the Information Coalition. We put this thing together, co-creator of the conference with Jim Merrifield, and there are a whole lot of other things. But welcome to the Information Governance Conference. We are absolutely honored that you're here, joining us and taking in what is really by far our best set of speakers that we have ever had. It's insane that all of this incredible knowledge has come together in Providence, Rhode Island. And welcome to Rhode Island. You know, everybody's got their bucket list of 50 states that they want to go to. This is usually number 50. It's pretty easy to miss, just by size alone. It's a state, but it's also a unit of measurement, Rhode Island is. So one of the most common search terms for Rhode Island is how many Rhode Islands fit in, and then you just add a state or a country or a body of water or a wildfire. That's how Rhode Island makes its way into the news. But Rhode Island, California, there's 106 Rhode Islands in there, just to give scale of where we're at. Texas, we've got 173 Rhode Islands that fit in Texas, and then a whopping 425 that fit in Alaska, which, you know, there's something to that. But it's little old Rhode Island we brought you to, and, you know, there's a lot of question of why Providence? Why is it, you know, you were at Hartford the last 2 years, now you're in Providence. Why is it that you brought this here to Providence? And really, it's because things are dark in Providence. We are the author H.P. Lovecraft wrote all of his novels and lived in Providence, Rhode Island, just up the hill here. And this is Cthulhu, which I just added to a slide to say that I added Cthulhu to a slide in a presentation. And Rhode Island is an interesting place as you're going to get to know it over the next 2 days. We literally, on our state flag, have an anchor crushing hope. So that's an interesting design choice. But Rhode Island, on the positive side, I obviously kid. Rhode Island is quickly becoming a tech hub on the East Coast. You know, Cambridge has had many years of being this tech startup outside of Boston, and Rhode Island is now picking that up with lots of startups coming, and there's even rumors, if you drove in or you've looked around, there's the one giant building in the skyline, the Superman building, as it's called around here, and it's looking like the rumor mill is going that PayPal is going to be moving their East Coast operations to that building. We'll see if that comes to fruition or not. But in addition to Rhode Island being on this major upswing, Providence, this city, has been on an insane tear of an upswing, where GQ magazine called it the world's coolest city. Travel and Leisure magazine called it the best food city in America, beating out San Francisco, sorry Whitney, and New York and New Orleans. This tiny city has a lot to offer, and you're going to see it. It also ranked #1 in worst drivers in America, but we'll leave that one alone. But a lot has changed. So if you've been to an information governance conference before, a lot has changed, especially since last year. We launched the Information Coalition this year, at the beginning of the year. We went back to our original vision for the conference, bringing it back to the grassroots-style conference that this industry and this profession really so desperately needed, which is why we created it in the first place. We're back to those roots. We started the Information Coalition in an effort to continue to serve the profession. And I'm going to have a few words about the profession in a moment here. But why do we create this thing called the Information Coalition? Don't we have enough associations and groups out there? And the short answer is yes, and the long answer is, well, not really. So there are a lot of organizations that play in the information space, and they all have their individual set of expertise and their deep knowledge into an individual body of knowledge. So ARMA is known for being the Records Management Association. They have a deep body of knowledge in records management. AIM, ECM, or information management, or as they're positioning themselves now, line of business information. Privacy, obviously IAPP. But there's a huge gap here on this slide, and it's not just that question mark for data science as we see who fills that void. The huge gap is actually found when you look at all of this together. Who in an organization brings together all of these disciplines? Who sets the tone, the direction, the risk tolerance, the understanding of how an organization uses information? Who does that? Well, sometimes it's a records manager, sometimes it's a CIO, sometimes it's an IT director. But the real answer is there's nobody. There is no defined role of a person who coordinates information in an organization. And we think that's wrong. We think that's very wrong. And that's the area that the Information Coalition exists to serve, is to create this information profession. And there's been a lot of conversation about the information profession over the years. A lot of conversation about it. The question is it real yet? And despite all of the efforts, despite the certifications and certificates that have existed, no one has defined the information profession yet. You know, we have some that are trying to lay claim on a particular area and saying, this, from my perspective, as a records manager or as an information manager or as a BPM specialist, this is the information profession. But no one's really gotten it right, and no one has extended their credibility beyond their domain of expertise. So when one organization says this is the information profession, everyone within their domain of expertise says, yes, that is the information profession, but no one else hears it. And that's a huge problem. We're going on 20 years of making this stuff up. And that's not okay anymore. So back in the 80s, there was this little organization called PMI. And they looked at things around them and they said, there are a lot of people doing projects. But there was no profession, there was no designation for a project manager. There was no profession yet, but there were people doing it, just like the people in this room. People that are doing this already, but there's no profession. And PMI came and said, okay, let's define our profession. Let's define this body of knowledge. Let's define it and then create a certification against it and create a profession. And they did it, and they've done it. It was wildly successful. Every organization has a project manager, and there are probably people in this room that have their PMP, which is their certification. Why hasn't that happened for information yet? So what is an information professional? It's a professional without a profession. I mean, we're lost in the wilderness, and no one has been guiding us. We're still waiting for our Moses moment. It hasn't happened yet. There's no one guiding us. We're still stuck in the wilderness. Until February, when we said, enough. This needs to happen, and it needs to happen 5 years ago. But since it didn't, we're going to do it now. So we launched this thing called the InfoBoc, the Information Body of Knowledge. And it is our most important work that we're doing right now. The information body of knowledge is joining with the community to define what the information profession is. So this is not us from our ivory towers saying, here is your information profession. No, that's never going to work. What we're saying is, here, we're going to work with you to help define our profession. What it is that we've all been trying to do, but haven't had that guidance and that definition of the role. So we launched the Information Body of Knowledge, InfoBoc. And what this is is a form right now that you can access on the Information Coalition app. If you haven't downloaded the Information Coalition app, everything you could possibly need to know about the conference is in that app. So your schedule, your speakers, our wonderful sponsors, who we'll acknowledge in a moment, who are amazing, that make all this happen. Download the Information Coalition app. Don't everybody do it at once, or you're all going to get angry with the Wi-Fi. But download the Information Coalition app, and you can go in there and select what you think is within the information profession and what is outside of the information profession. You define it, not us. We're working with you. We're enabling you. So that's the information body of knowledge, and we're back with the Information Governance Conference this year. So when we created the Information Coalition, our goal was to serve this information strategy professional, information professional, a strategic role. The Information Governance Conference really serves as our annual flagpost, where we come together as a community and we work together to share our knowledge. And we have so many amazing speakers that will be sharing their knowledge during these 2 days. I'm absolutely so thrilled. But let's have a word about community. So I keep saying this, we're bringing together the community. But we're a weird community. For the speakers that were at the speakers dinner last night, just getting to know everyone, we come from all shapes, sizes, from different parts of the country and the world, from different ethnicities, different religions, and there's no real, there's not a standard unifying factor among us. You know, we have different political views, different ways of living. We have people that are urban and suburban, but what is it that makes us this community? And it's an intelligence around information that draws us together. Despite all of our differences, we come together and we can share our knowledge. So last year at the Information Governance Conference, I put this quote up, and I'm going to put it up every year. Do things to help the industry, and the industry will always repay you. And that is our guiding principle. That is what pushes us forward, is knowing that when we come to you and provide things to you, you give back. You pay to come to a conference. Your companies sponsor and make the event happen and pay money to make this event happen because it's important. So we're going to continue to keep providing you resources, and we're just going to trust that you continue to make it possible for us to keep providing you resources. Our next steps after this conference, at the end of the month, the initial step of the information body of knowledge will end. We will stop the polling for the InfoBox. And then what we'll start to do is look at all those areas that you've defined as a part of the information profession, and we'll start to flesh that out with working groups. If you have not filled out that form on the infocoalition.com website or on the Information Coalition app, please do so and check off the box that says, I'd like to volunteer. We do this with you. Not for you, on your behalf, or at you. We do this with you. Tonight we have just some housekeeping. Tonight we have a really great awards ceremony. It's going to be a lot of fun. We had open polling. Again, awards with you, not for you or at you. These are your awards. You chose the winners of these awards. And we've got some trophies that we'll be handing out. We'll be acknowledging some people that have been doing some amazing stuff in the profession that is soon to come. We have an Information Governance Expert of the Year, the Best Information Governance Company of 2016, and the Best Information Governance Service Provider of 2016, and some runners-up. And we'll be acknowledging all of our top vote achievers, the votes that you provided. And there were over 5,000 votes this year. 5,000 votes cast. So you think we're having an impact here? I mean, we're in Providence, Rhode Island. We're on the Jewish holidays. We're also on Canadian Thanksgiving. And yet, here we are. Lessons learned. Yes, I know. And yet here we are, but 5,000 votes cast in the Information Governance Awards this year. That's over double what it was last year. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. There's one additional category that we're adding this year, and it's happening tomorrow. And we talked about how our goal is to serve this profession. Well, part of serving this profession is also serving our vendor community, and not in the typical, we're going to give you leads way. You know, there's a lot of that that's already happening in the industry, and it feels a little dirty. We would rather serve the vendors by providing them knowledge and access to people, but not in the typical, you know, download, pass a lead, with that being the primary goal. I think associations can operate at a higher level than that. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., we are going to go out to our vendors for the sole purpose of listening to their pitches, listening to what it is that they do and how they do what they do, so that we can then provide them the valuable feedback so that they can improve those pitches and improve their products and services. That's different than you know, the typical vendor experience or sponsor experience. But we know that the people in this room, you're at the forefront of what's coming next in information. You're already here, you're recognizing what's coming next. So if you can then provide feedback to the vendors so that they can then leverage that to larger audiences, larger communities, and the community that's coming, that's building, that's why we're going to be providing them feedback. And we'll be giving some awards out for that, for the best vendor pitch out there as well, because we should acknowledge them for their hard work. After party. Okay, so your badge, and I took mine off before coming up here, your badge has lots of things inside of it. I don't know if you've noticed the sound of 200 Velcro strips. There are things inside of your badge. There's a little gold coin. Hold on to that for tomorrow night. You're going to want it. Or if you're not going to be here tomorrow night because you have to take a flight, pass it to somebody else and you'll be their best friend. There's a pen in there because who doesn't need a pen from time to time? And there's also, when you filled out your form, you told us a little bit about yourself. So we're giving you some things that we think you'll like around the city based on your responses. So if you're an animal lover, we gave you a couple options. Art, craft beer, wine, to really cater the experience that you have here throughout the entire time to what you like. We'll be taking over the city of Providence tomorrow. No spoilers on that. At this point, I want to acknowledge the amazing sponsors that we have. Primary among them, IBM. IBM has stepped up to the plate and really made a dedication and a commitment to this community. They've become a platinum sponsor. They are contributing. They are helping. You've seen Richard Hogg and Susan Whitmire doing amazing work, Donda Young. A lot of their people are doing great volunteer work. Go check out their booth. They're wonderful. And they're the primary sponsor of this event. And we honestly, without them, we couldn't do this. So they deserve our thanks. You know, seriously. We're able to offer a $500 ticket because of these vendors. And that's no small statement. Our gold sponsors, AdLib, Box, Optismo, Valora Technologies, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to our silver sponsors, Glass IG, iManage, William B. Meyer, Zia Consulting, and Ciclor, who sponsored our bags, thank you. And to you, thank you for being here.